Hello everybody, Tim Sonefelt here. Thanks for joining me. Before we jump into the workshop, I wanted to show you something pretty amazing. I'm going to show you some cards. I'm going to put them up on your screen. Now, what I'd like for you to do is take a look at those cards and choose any red card and actually place your finger on it right on the screen. Now keep your finger there. All right, now move to the left or to the right to the nearest black card and keep your finger there. Next, move up or down to the nearest red card and keep your finger there. Now, please move diagonally to the nearest black card and keep your finger there. Finally, move left or right to the nearest red card and keep your finger there. Keep your finger there and remember your card. Pretty amazing, huh? Yep, that is an awesome trick. And in just a few minutes, we're going to jump into learning some fantastic magic. But before we do that, there are 5 rules of magic that I'm going to share with you through the course of our time together today. Let's take a look at rule number 1. Everybody knows about kings and queens in a deck of cards, but did you realize there are actually ninjas in a deck of cards? It's true. I'm going to show you. Let me go through here and find the ninjas. There are 2 ninjas in every deck. Let's see. There's one of them. And, oh, there's the other one. 2 ninjas in every deck of cards. I'm going to introduce them to you now. The black 7 and black 8. Those are the ninjas. Now, to prove their ninja-like skills, I'm going to place one of them into the center of the deck, and then one of them a little lower, both going into the center of the deck. Square them up like that. Now watch carefully. They will jump out of the deck with their ninja-like power, speed, and skill. Yeah! Just like that. There are our 2 ninja cards. Let's take a look at what makes that work. To perform the ninja cards, you're going to need a deck of cards. You don't need the box. We'll put that to the side. Now, the cards are set up in a special order. Before you start, you're going to remove both of the black 7s and both of the black 8s. So they're both black 7s and they're both black 8s. Now you're going to pair them up so you have a 7 and an 8 in each pair. But you don't want the suits to match. In other words, you want a 7 of clubs and an 8 of spades, and an 8 of clubs and a 7 of spades. That's important, and it'll become more evident in just a minute. So I like to start with one of the pairs in the middle of the deck, anywhere you like. And then I put the other ones, one of them on the top and one of them on the bottom, or the face of the deck. So I have one on the top of the deck, 2 hidden in the middle, and then the other on the bottom. And you can put the deck in the box if you want to start, but you don't have to. So to start out, I tell them that they're ninja cards, and I go through the deck, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of going through. Now, I wouldn't want to show the audience this because you don't want them to know you've got one of the cards on the bottom. So I just go through here until I find, did I miss them? The black 7 and 8, there they are. And I like to take them out and put them face down on the table. And I'll set the deck aside. Then I introduce the audience to the ninja cards. Now it's important at this point to not call attention to the suits. I just say there's a black 7 and a black 8, and I just kind of keep them gently moving so people don't have a real chance to focus on what the suit is for which number. And I lay them back down. Then I'm going to pick up the deck, and I'm going to put one of them in the center of the deck, and then the other one a slightly different place in the middle of the deck. Now you have to be careful here not to turn the deck up, otherwise they will see another black card on the bottom, and you don't want them to see that. So just kind of keep it tilted down or level with your table if you're sitting. And if you have helpers in person, you can allow them to push the cards into the deck. You just kind of keep them square. Now you're going to grip the deck like this with your thumb on the top, fingers on the bottom, and you're going to kind of give it a little squeeze, a gentle squeeze. And in a second, you're going to toss the deck into your other hand. But as you do, since you're gently squeezing right before you let that pressure go, the top card and bottom card are going to drag off and stay over here in your right hand. So it's impossible to do this slowly, otherwise the cards spill on the table. Keep a short distance at first, because the shorter the toss, the more likely you are to catch them. Then after you've practiced, you can get a little further. I'm going to keep it pretty close right now, and I'll show you full speed, ha! Like that. And you see that 2 cards have come out, and they are actually the top and the bottom card. They didn't come out of the center, but it looks like the 2 ninja cards have jumped out of the deck. That's it. Have fun. Let's do something interesting. Take a look at this picture. Look at it carefully. Do you see an old lady or an old man? An old woman or an old man? Or is it a princess? Optical illusions can be a lot of fun too. Now, let's take a look at magic rule number 2. Have you ever dropped your silverware in the restaurant? That can be embarrassing, especially if it bounces way across the room and goes under another person's table. How embarrassing. It's especially bad if you need your spoon and you dropped it and you haven't gotten your ice cream yet. All you have left is your fork. It would take forever to eat a bowl of ice cream with a fork. But fear not. I have a magic trick that will help you solve that problem. All you need is your napkin and your fork. You lay your fork right on top of the center of the napkin, and then you roll them up like this. You just roll the napkin and the fork together like this. Snap your fingers, and just like that, your fork has changed into your spoon. And that is how you eat your ice cream. Now let's take a look at what makes this trick work. So for this trick, you're going to need a napkin, a spoon, and a fork. It's not really magic. So you place your napkin on the table like this in a diamond shape. Now you don't have to use a linen napkin. You can use this is a little microfiber cleaning cloth. You can use a washcloth. Sometimes a paper napkin would work, but don't recommend those because it can tear or you can see through sometimes. And you're going to hide your spoon under the center of the napkin. Now if I just lay it there, you can tell there's a little hump over here, and I don't want that look, so I just kind of tug on it a little bit and kind of scrunch it up just a little bit so it doesn't look like anything is hidden underneath. This is very simple to do. All you need to do is pick up your fork and you lay it right on top of the spoon. Now it's important, if the spoon is curved this way, you want to lay it so the fork is curved that way so they kind of nest together. Then you're going to pick up the fork and start rolling it into the napkin, but you also grab the spoon underneath and you're actually rolling them both up like that. Now you have to pay close attention when the corners are almost into the roll. You want to roll it so that they switch places, so that this one points at you and this one points away from you. And when you roll it that far, so they switch places, now you can unroll it using those same 2 corners and it will switch them because it's turned over the napkin and it looks like this. So there's the spoon. Now, I don't want to show a lump under this after I pick it up, so I kind of pinch the napkin a little bit when I pick up the spoon and then let it go. That raises it up a little bit to hide any bumps that are underneath, and you end up with your spoon. That's it. Have fun. I'd like to show you something fascinating with a dollar bill. As a magician, it's impossible to harm or destroy a dollar bill. I'm going to show you using the dollar bill, this little piece of paper, and a pencil. First, I'm going to fold this piece of paper in half to kind of act as a shield for the dollar bill. Just fold it in half. I'm also going to fold the dollar bill in half long ways, like this, so it'll fit right inside the center of my paper shield. I'm even going to fold the ends of the dollar bill around the paper to lock it in place so there's no way it can slide out of the way. However, when I stick the pencil into the center of the bill and in the center of the paper and give it a shove just like this, the pencil goes right through. And you can see it's going all the way through from both sides. Now keep your eye on the pencil as it comes all the way through the bill and the paper. But watch carefully as I open the paper up, because you can now see the bill is not harmed, but the paper has a hole. Now let's take a look at what makes this trick work. To perform this trick, you need a dollar bill, a pencil, and to get ready ahead of time, you'll need a pair of scissors and a piece of paper, because you're going to make 4 little squares of paper. Let me show you how to do that first of all, because you'll need to make those before you start. You're just going to fold your sheet of paper in half this way and give it a crease. Now fold that half piece in half again and give it a crease. And when you open it up, it has 4 folds. You will use the scissors to cut right along those 4 folds. So you end up with 4 pieces of paper that are just about the perfect size. So there's one, and you can go ahead and cut this other one if you want to make 4. So you need one of those, your pencil and the dollar bill. And here's how you perform the trick. The first thing is to fold your paper in half. Nothing special about that. You just fold it in half. I like to open it up so it'll stay open for me to put the dollar inside in a second. Then I fold the dollar in half long ways as well and stick that right in the middle. Now I'm going to fold them closed together. And then I'm going to fold the ends of the bill around the paper like this. That kind of does lock it in there. It has nothing to do with the trick, but it does keep the bill from sliding around on you. And to the audience, it looks like you are preventing the bill from moving out of the way of the pencil. When you put the pencil into the center, you don't put it into the center of the dollar bill. So in other words, I kind of point the pencil back towards me, and as I slide it down in here, it goes behind the dollar bill. So as you can see, it's going behind the dollar bill, and then I turn it over like this. I like to put it on the table. You can push it through with your hand, but I like to turn it over and give it a shove like that, so it goes right through, and it looks like it goes through both of them. But again, as you can see, it really just went beside the dollar, and it's on the back side where I put it. So I will show it like this. Then I pull the pencil all the way through so they can see that it really does come all the way through and leave the hole. Now all you have to do is unfold and unfold, and when you unfold this, they can see immediately that there is no hole in the bill. Then I slide that down and let them see that the hole is indeed in the paper. And that's it. Have fun. Let's take a look at another one of those optical illusions. Take a look at this duck. Is it really a duck, or is it a rabbit? Sometimes our eyes can't quite decide. Now let's take a look at magic rule number 3. Magic, I'm going to need someone to choose a card. So, camera person, would you mind reaching in here and grabbing a card? And show it to the camera, please. And just place it face down on the table. Fantastic, thanks. I'm going to cut the deck in half. I'm going to place your card in the center. We'll show the camera one more time. Go in the center, and I'm going to lose it in the center of the deck. And just like this, with a snap, I'll make your card turn upside down in the deck. So it's now face up. Let's see, there it is in the very center. Your card was the 5 of diamonds. That's not it? Oh goodness, I'm sorry. Actually, this is not your card. You're correct. This is an indicator card. The indicator card tells us where your card is. So it says it's number 5. So if we deal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th card, that should be your card, the 9 of diamonds. So the indicator card told us where your card was, but that's not all. Along the way, we found the 4 aces as well. Let's take a look at what makes that trick work. To perform this trick, all you need is a deck of cards, but you have to do a little preparation beforehand. So let me go through here and get the cards that we're going to need. You're going to need the 4 aces. There they are. And you're also going to need a red 5. We don't need that 3, so let's get that out of the way. So you need a red 5, and I like to use a red 5 just because it makes it show up a little better in the deck. So 4 aces, a red 5, and the deck of cards. All you're going to do is place the 4 aces face down. On top of those, you're going to place the red 5 face up, like that. And then you place the deck on top. So to recap, at the bottom of the deck, we have the 4 aces that are face down. We have the red 5 face up, and the rest of the deck. Now to perform the trick, you're going to spread the cards to have someone choose one. You just can't spread too far, because if you do, they're going to see that you have a face-up card. So I just usually spread the top half of the deck, let them choose one. It doesn't matter what card they choose at all. You place the deck down while they're looking at their card and showing it to the camera. And so this time they chose the 7 of clubs. Again, it doesn't matter. You can have them cut the cards, which is a nice way because you never really touch them again. If you have a live audience, we don't hear on the camera, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the cards. And they'll place their card in the center of the deck because you're going to bury it like that. Now what I just did, since we had set the deck up ahead of time, when I completed the cut and hid their card in the center, I put right on top of their card 4 aces and then a face-up 5. Okay, so now in the middle of the deck is a face-up 5, underneath that 4 aces, and then underneath that their chosen card. That puts their chosen card 5th from the face-up red card, which is a 5, makes it our indicator card. Now I'm just going to spread these out on the table, and they can see right in the center is a 5, face up. And I say, there, we did it, there's your card, the 5 of diamonds. Now they're going to say right away, that's not the correct card. And that's what we're expecting, and that's what we want. Okay, this side are the 4 aces. They were underneath the 5. These are all in different cards. So I'm going to put the deck back together while they're saying this is not their card. I'm explaining that, oh, you're right, that's an indicator card. Now I'm going to pick these up, place them on top. Now here are the 4 aces and then the chosen card. So yes, you're right, that is not your card. This is actually an indicator card that tells us where your card is. It's a 5, so it tells me your card is now 5 down from the top of the deck. I deal off 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, the 5th card would be your card, which is the 7 of clubs. And I put that down and I pause for a second. And I say, so the indicator card was right. It told us where your card, the 7 of clubs, was. But that's not all. Along the way, we found all 4 aces. And that is double whammy. Have fun. Now let's take a look at magic rule number 4. Gravity. It keeps us grounded, literally. I once told a joke in zero gravity, but it didn't go down well. This bill has actually learned to do something interesting. It's learned to defy gravity. I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to fold it like this. And if you watch carefully, you will see that it has learned to defy gravity. It's not yet, but if I take this hand away, it can still defy the laws of gravity. Now, let's take a look and what makes this trick work. To perform this trick, you're going to need a dollar bill and you're going to need a nickel. Now the nickel serves as a weight to keep the bill balanced on your finger, okay? Sort of a counterweight. We'll get into that in a second. The bill is just a normal dollar bill. You can borrow the dollar bill if you'd like. If you do that, you would just have the nickel in your hand, laying on your fingers beforehand, and then as you bring the bill up, you can just put it behind a corner of the dollar like that. But I just use my own bill and start with it behind it on this corner. Now, as magicians, we like to show our hands empty, but it's awkward to say, look, there's nothing in this hand and there's nothing in the other hand. So I do that while I'm gesturing with just a pretty natural couple of movements. So I gesture with this hand as I'm talking. Now I'm going to transfer the nickel to the other side where I want it to be for the folding and balancing. So in order to do that, I'm just going to kind of snap the bill like that. And from the front, it looks ordinary, but from the back, you can see what's happening is I'm transferring the nickel to the other side. Okay, so it starts here. I gesture as I'm talking. I snap the bill. I gesture again, and I've now shown both hands empty without saying, look, my hands are empty. That's a natural way to do that. Now, while I'm showing this hand and still talking, I'm positioning the nickel so it's above the halfway point of the dollar, actually a little more than that, and I'm going to fold the dollar in half long ways, a little more than half because there's a little more sticking up on the back than the front, and then that little bit more sticking up is what I'm going to fold down to kind of trap the nickel inside. Okay, now I can feel where the nickel is. It's about right here. So when I turn it up this way, I just want to make sure my thumb is under where the nickel is, and that'll let it balance on my thumb, which looks pretty amazing. But I don't do that right away. I keep my other thumb touching it so that it is balancing across my thumbs, and then I slowly lower that thumb, and that just makes it a little more dramatic and a little more magical, I think. Now, to clean this up at the end where you can let the dollar bill be examined, you just pinch the nickel between the dollar right there. You turn your hand up like this, release your grip, and when you do, the nickel is going to slide into your hand. Slide right out, and then you can hand it to someone. They can examine it. They can try it. It won't work, no matter how much they try. And while they're looking at the bill, unfolding it or trying it, you have an easy chance to get rid of the nickel by a couple of seconds later putting it in your pocket, or I just hold it in my hand in a natural manner, and nobody's ever questioned that. So that's it. Have fun. Have you ever heard someone say life is an uphill battle? I guess that can be true sometimes, but right now I want to show you something fun with a paper clip and a rubber band, a broken rubber band actually. So the rubber band is threaded through the paper clip, and it goes downhill pretty easily. It can go downhill pretty easily, as you can see, but for the paper clip to go uphill might be a little more of a challenge unless we use some magic. And if we do, by just blowing on the paper clip, if you watch carefully, slowly you might see the paper clip start to travel uphill. If you watch carefully, you'll see it continue to go up the hill made by the rubber band. Slowly but surely, it makes its way closer and closer to the top. Now, let's find out what makes this trick work. To perform this trick, all you need is a paper clip and a rubber band. The rubber band is better if it's broken, or you can cut it. I actually cut this one so it appears that it's broken, but you need it to be so you can stretch it out in a straight line, okay? The next thing you're going to do is, after showing the object, is to thread the paper clip onto the rubber band, okay? Now it looks like I'm going to stretch it out between my fingers like this, but when in reality that's not what happens at all. I actually am going to keep most of the rubber band hidden over here in my left hand, or excuse me, in my right hand. So I just kind of crumple it up, and then I stretch the rubber band pretty far as I'm letting it go downhill. Okay, so now the rubber band is stretched pretty far, but that's only a little small portion of the rubber band. Okay, so if it's on here like this, you can see how little of the rubber band that actually is. The rest of it is over here, hidden in my right hand. Okay, so it's hidden there. You want to keep it curled up in your hand so it doesn't drop out the bottom. All right, so now as I stretch this, I can let the paperclip fall to the bottom of the hill. Now if I slowly reduce the pressure holding the rubber band, it will slowly go back to its normal state, which is going to make the rubber band pull the paperclip up the hill. And as you can see, I'm slowly letting that curled up rubber band in this hand over here, my right hand, it is slowly coming out. Now the rubber band holds the paperclip because I don't have it at a real steep angle, and it grips the paperclip because of its rubber surface. Now if I had it really steep, it probably wouldn't go, so you don't want it too steep, you just want it at enough of an angle that it's obviously going uphill. And you just kind of watch through the back of your hand, or you can feel when the rubber band is almost back to its regular length. That's what you don't want to happen. If you let go, it's going to fly over, and that kind of ruins the illusion. So just keep it here. Don't let it go at the end so the paperclip falls off. And one other thing that you can use for this is you don't have to use a paperclip. You could borrow someone's ring. I'll use my ring, for instance, right now. So you can do the same thing. It's easy to go downhill, but it's harder to go uphill unless we use magic. You can blow on it like that, and then you can slowly let it slide, and you can see again the ring goes up the hill. Okay. You can also use, in addition to a ring or a paper clip, you can also use a smaller rubber band that's still in a loop. You can put it on there and it will slide up too, because the rubber bands kind of grip each other and it'll pull it right up the hill. And that's it. Have fun. Here's another fun optical illusion. Take a look at this picture. There's a dog hidden in this image. Can you find the dog? It's pretty obvious when you see him. Look carefully. Do you see it now? And now let's see what magic rule number 5 is. I'm going to give someone a unique opportunity, an opportunity to control my mind. And since the only person here besides me is our camera operator, I'm going to let her do that. But to do it, we're going to need a paper bag, which I brought. And we're going to need 5 ping pong balls. There's an orange one, a green one, yellow, blue, and pink. I'm going to give them a shake in the bag. And all right, camera operator, you're going to control my mind. So I want you to think of a color, one of those colors, say it out loud, and then concentrate on the color. So say the color that you'd like for me to reach in and grab first out of the bag.
Orange.
Orange. I'm going to grab the orange ball, but only because you're going to concentrate on it and control my hand to go toward the orange ball. So control my hand. Are you controlling it? Not bad, the orange ball. Give me another color.
Green.
Green. All right. I'm going to try to grab the green ball with your help controlling my mind. Let's see how I did. There is the green ball. Let's give them another mix. Give me another color.
Pink.
Pink. You're controlling my mind, controlling my hand, and there's the pink ball. We only have 2 left, and it should be yellow and blue. So give me one of the last 2 colors.
Blue. Control
my hand so that I take out only the blue one and not the yellow one, which is left inside the bag. Now let's take a look at how this trick works. To perform this trick, you're going to need some ping pong balls. There are other things you can use if you don't have colorful ping pong balls. I'll talk about that in a minute. It's nice if you have a container to put those in. You can just lay them on the table, but they tend to roll away. So I like to have them in some sort of container, a little clear glass or a bowl. And you need a paper bag. Now this paper bag is specially prepared so that I can see the balls inside of them without looking into the top. And that's because underneath this flap thing by the bottom, there's a secret window. You can see the secret window right there. So if I open this up and put the balls in, I can see them all. But first, let me show you how you show this bag. You pick it up. It looks very natural, very normal. You show both sides of it. And then when the bottom is facing you away from the audience, you put your hand inside and you open it up so that the window is now clear and you can see. Now there's some clear plastic across that. I'm going to show you how to make this bag in just a minute, but if I dump the balls in here, you can clearly see how you can see all the colors inside, so that when you reach in, you just kind of glance and you know where it is, and then you can pick out the orange one, you can pick out the green one, you can pick out the blue one. You can call them in order, pink, and then finally yellow. Okay, so that's how you perform the trick. That's how you know what color you're going to grab when they tell you which color they want. Now there's another way you can do this. You can have two helpers come up, and then you can have two balls of each color. So two pink, two green, two yellow, for instance. And you can let one helper in on the secret. They can see the window, and you let this helper grab a ball. Whatever color they choose, then the other helper is able to pick the same color. So that's a neat way to do it when we can interact and have a couple of folks with us. But for now, it's best to just do it this way by yourself and pretend that they're controlling your mind and your hand to know which color to grab. Now let's take a look at how to make this special paper bag. You'll need some tape, you'll need a paper bag, and you'll need a clear zip kind of bag. Now you don't want to use the cheap thin bags. You want to use a freezer bag if you have one. You don't have to go out and get it just for this. You can use any, but the freezer bags are a little thicker, makes a little nicer window, okay? We'll get to the freezer bag in a second. First I'm going to show you how to prepare the paper bag so you get the window. So lay it so that the square part of the bottom is on top facing you, and if you fold it back, you will notice that there are two lines, two folds right there. That's where your window is going to go. It's going to be above this and below this for the window. Now you can make it a little deeper if you want, but then it folds up, and it's best if it doesn't fold. So we want to keep it in between those two lines. So I use the scissors, and I'm going to put my hand inside before I cut to just kind of make a little pinch right there. So I know now that if I cut where I made this little pinch, I'll be cutting into the bag and not cutting through another layer. So I'm just going to make a little tiny slit that I can get the tip of my scissors in, and then once the tip of my scissors are in, I can then cut along the edge just below the crease. Now it's important that it's below this fold, and you'll see why in a second, because that's what's going to allow the bottom to hide it for us, okay? Now you want to be sure you don't cut through the side when you're inside cutting, so you just want to cut open, kind of open the bag up to cut it. So you're going to cut a window, and it doesn't have to be perfect. No one is going to see it except you. You just be very careful, and you cut your window out like that. Put that to the side. Now, you're going to lay your bag over this, and you're going to cut a piece of the clear bag that is just a little bigger. So I just cut that all the way across, and we don't need this part anymore. Now I have this section, so I'm going to cut off one end, and I know I need it to be about that wide. Okay, and now it's too long. I don't need all of this extra, So I'm just going to cut off one part of this, and that's going to make my window to go inside of the bag. Now once you get it cut close, you might need to trim it down, and I do. I need to trim mine down just a little bit, and that's okay. You want it to fit inside. Then what I like to do is I like to put one piece of tape on the top edge of my window and one piece of tape on the bottom edge of my window, and then with the sticky side up, put my hand in here, open the bag up, and then kind of position my window so that it covers up the hole. Now you're probably going to have to put another piece of short tape on the sides so that it stays in place really well, but that's a pretty easy thing to do also. Plus it's clear tape, so it doesn't matter if the tape shows a little bit in your window, because you're going to be able to see anyways. So you're just going to do this until you get it just like you want it. Now, I have the window in the bag. I can fold the bag up, and when it's folded, my window is covered so I can show the bag all around. Now I open the bag up. It's ready to go. Now, of course, you never show that to your audience. Put the balls in, and with my new bag, if I look down in there, I can see the colors of the balls. Now, a thing that you can use besides the ping pong balls, you can use any small object that will, fit in the bag.
Hang on, time out. I realized after shooting this video that the easiest and quickest thing to use instead of ping pong balls would be crumpled up pieces of different color construction paper. So get 5 different colors of construction paper, crumple the balls up, and you can use them as the ping pong balls. Back to the lesson.
The thing you have to keep in mind is that they need to be the same shape and the same size. Otherwise, they think you're able to tell because it's a different size or a different shape. So you could use pencil erasers if you had 5 or 6 different colors of the small pencil erasers that go on the top of the pencils. You could also use crayons. So anything you have like that, you could use smaller little rubber bouncy balls. Anything you have that you have 4 or 5 that are the same shape and the same size but different colors, you can use for this trick. That's it. Have fun. Magicians like to read people's minds, and that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to read the mind of our camera operator. I've got some numbers on a sheet of paper here, but before we get into this, I'm going to make a prediction on my little sticky notes here. I'm just going to write down a number that will make sense, hopefully, in just a minute. I'm just going to tear that off and fold it in half and in half again. Just kind of lay it over to the side. All right, camera operator, I have 9 digits. Would you please give me one of the 9 digits? Just out loud, say one of those 9 digits.
7.
7. All right, I'm going to circle 7. And that will remove those numbers from play. All right, of the numbers that are left, give me another one of those numbers.
2.
2. I'm going to circle the 2, and that's going to eliminate those and eliminate these. So we have 2 and we have 7. Give me one other number that is not circled or crossed out.
6.
Oh, that would be 6. All right, now if we add up the circled numbers, because we've eliminated the rest, we would be 7 plus 6 is 13 plus 2 equals 15. Let's take a look at my prediction. Through your random choices, I knew you would end up with 15. Now, let's take a look at what makes this trick work. To perform this trick, you're going to need a few things. You're going to need a marker. I like to use a Sharpie because it's not writes big and bold, but it doesn't really matter. You need a small piece of paper. I use a sticky pad, but any kind of paper you have will work. You can use a whole sheet of paper and fold it up small. That's for your prediction. Then you're going to need numbers on a paper like this. Now, I printed them out so it looks nice on the video for you guys, but you don't have to do it this fancy. You can actually write the numbers small, make a tic-tac-toe board and write them on a smaller piece of paper. You can write them big on a regular size sheet of paper, or if you're handy with the computer, you can lay it out like this. Either way is fine. The trick works the same no matter what this looks like, whether it's computer printed or handwritten. It's going to work exactly the same. Now first, I'm going to make my prediction. So I write that on a piece of paper that I can fold up that nobody is going to see. Now, my prediction is always going to be 15. Because no matter what numbers they choose, the addition is always going to make it 15, okay? They're always going to add up to 15. So I'm going to write my prediction down, 15, but you don't say this, and you kind of write it in a way that they can't really tell what you're writing. And sometimes to do that, I'll go over it twice so they're not really sure what I'm writing. Lay the marker down. So there's my prediction. I'm just going to fold this up, and if I'm using these sticky notes, they're kind of thin. So I will usually take 2 of them off so you can't see through it, okay? And then I'll just fold it in half like this, and then fold it in half again and lay it to the side. Next, I'm going to have someone shout out numbers. So I'll get 3 people, or if I only have 1 person like with our camera operator today, I'll have them shout out the numbers. So they can choose any number. What you're going to do first is circle that number. Let's say they chose 4. So we would circle 4. Now, everything in this row is crossed off. Okay? So everything in the row that the number they chose and the column, those are crossed off. So you can no longer choose those numbers. So now they have these 4 numbers to choose from. They can choose another one. Let's say they choose 9. We circle that one. Now, none of these are available and none of these are available. So choose another number that's available. The only thing left is 2. Okay, so we circle 2. Now we add up, and you can give them a calculator to add it up, or a piece of paper, or let them add it in their head. So if we add 2 and 4, that's 6. 6 plus 9 is 15, and that will match the prediction we made earlier of 15. Now, just to show you that it works no matter what numbers they choose, I'm going to move this to the side, and we're going to do it again with different numbers. So let's say they chose 6. So we would circle that. These are now out of play, and these are now out of play. So then let's say they chose 8. So now these are out of play, and these are out of play. Choose a number that's left. Oh, there's only one. Number 1. So 8 plus 1 is 9, plus 6 is 15. Our prediction still matches. No matter what number they choose to start with, what number they choose second, they're only going to have one option for the third number, and they're always, the 3 circled numbers will add up to 15, which matches your prediction. And that's it. Have fun. I want to sincerely thank you for watching. I hope this video sparked your interest in magic. If you were already interested in magic, well then, I hope you learned something new. To learn even more, some of the most amazing magic secrets of all time are hidden in books, and your library is a great place to start. That's how I got started all those years ago when I was just 8 years old. Magic, as my career, has taken me all over the United States and literally around the world. It's been my honor and joy to bring laughter and amazement, as well as fun to all those audiences. Thank you for allowing me to share a little of that with you today. Now, before we go, I want to share a short clip of me performing on a TV show from 2005. It was filmed in the historic Sumter Opera House in Sumter, South Carolina. I hope you enjoy it. That's it. Have fun. No, I mean, that's really it. Have fun.